interrupting today's video to give a massive thank you to today's sponsor, Yes Auto. Yes Auto is the one-stop shop for buying any car, with an experience that's always easy and enjoyable. Navigating onto the website, you can select each brand that you want to look at, each model, and even down to colour variant. You can also select through the images, as well as looking at brand new cars in 360 degrees inside and out. I myself spend a lot of time just looking at cars for sale, so it's awesome to jump on the Yes Auto website to have a look at cars for sale. You can even do a smart search on new and used cars with an option to select cash price or monthly costs. Their aim is to make car buying easy and enjoyable. Yes Auto are the one-stop shop offering a simple, impartial way to configure and compare new and used cars from almost any manufacturer, with a whole load of clever tools and media content for total reassurance. Once again, a huge thank you to Yes Auto for sponsoring today's video. There is a link in the description to the Yes Auto website. Thank you so much again to Yes Auto for sponsoring today's video, but let's get back to the action.
Guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a rather different sort of car for you today. Oh, this is a 2-ton 510 horsepower BMW X3M competition. This is a combination that we have not really delved into on this channel, so this is a real treat for me because I love big cars, especially fast versions of big cars. It's just weird. I'm a weird person, we all know that. So the BMW X3M competition, an £84,000 car that I've been gifted to today to go B-road bashing in. Now we have selected M2 mode for the minute. I have turned the traction control off. The exhaust button is on full exhaust. Who knew 2-ton could move this fast? It's insane. So BMW X3M Comp. This is the competition version. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, please do, because of course I'm out here enjoying myself. The X3M hasn't come to the UK, but the competition has. Okay, so this is a very large vehicle with a hugely powerful 3-litre straight-six twin turbo engine. It's the new generation one, believed to come out next in the M3 or the M4, you know, the new ones with the face like this. It has that engine in it, but what does that mean? Well, it seems to be a little bit more revvy, if I'm honest. The boost especially doesn't necessarily kick in and try and, you know, go sideways, because this thing is 4-wheel drive. Yes, this is a 4-wheel drive M car from the same sort of generation or era as the M4s and M3s that I've previously driven, and it reacts in a different way. Yes, there is weight there. I don't think you can feel it that much, if I'm quite honest. Firstly, I think that's the biggest thing, is that if you do come from you know, an M3 or an M4, I don't think you're really going to notice too much of the weight. The owner of this car actually had an M140i previously to this, and he was looking at M4s and M5s and all this sort of stuff, and nothing really tickled his pickle until he noticed this. And exclusivity, I think it's there. There isn't too many of these out there, and it has the size, but it has the power and the flair, I'm going to say, of an M car. So is it a proper M car? I'm going to throw it around some corners. I'm going to, you know, test this properly, because the generations before this, where you would get an M or, you know, maybe a big engine in one of BMW's bigger cars, they're good, but they weren't this small. This is sort of the first real generation where I think they've tried to really push the envelope quite hugely fast around a bend. Bloody impressive, the 4-wheel drive system. But it's the first time really that I think BMW have come to us with a smaller mid-size SUV to really compete against the Mercedes of the same sort of, you know, generation, your GLCs and E's and stuff. It feels, for a big car, very, very light on its feet. That is down to the 4-wheel drive, I think. If it was rear wheel drive, yes, it would be a little bit of fun sideways and that, but it wouldn't be as fast, I don't think. That's what I get from some M4s and M3s. It's fantastic going sideways and stuff, but something like this, I think, needs that four-wheel drive system. It needs the planted feel. So when you do chuck it into a corner and you want to put your foot down and you want to throw it about a bit, the weight doesn't overtake itself with it being, you know, solely rear-wheel drive. I think that's probably one of the best aspects to this X3M comp, is that, oh, yeah, hugely fast for one. 510 horsepower, I can definitely feel that. The 8-speed gearbox is actually fantastic as well. It tips through gears very quickly. It lights up red in front of you when you press the M2 button as well, which is just a good time. But I think the characteristics of an M car have changed over the years. You guys have previously seen an E46 M3 CSL that I've driven, and I literally to this day think it's probably one of the best cars I've ever driven. But it isn't anything like this. This is the newer generation, the faster, you know, a bit more sophisticated version of the M car, and I feel it today in a 2-ton SUV or mid-size SUV. It's really, really hard to put my finger on what I really think of this car. So firstly, it's a very responsive drive. I do feel a lot through the steering. Obviously, you know, you've got the comfort and sport plus settings in the steering. I do still feel that it is very responsive. I can feel the front wheels turning, which is, you know, an M car trait at the end of the day. The response of the power when it does come in the M modes is very, very quick. It don't, you know, drop off boost as you go through the gears. It is easy to just select third gear. And it revs right round to what, 7,000 RPM. You've even got the old school M car stuff, like the severity of the gear change, which is what I like. I love that from the previous M cars that I've driven, so I like that they've got that in this. It feels very proper in here though. I think that's the real thing I have to point out. There is carbon, there is paddles, there is M1, M2. It's such an M car in here, and you know, from afar seeing this car and, you know, seeing it online and stuff, I didn't really think much of it, if I'm honest. I didn't know what it was capable of. I didn't really think that, you know, BMW would put a competition pack at least on a mid-size SUV. I didn't think it was going to be as exciting, so I did ask myself the question, is this a proper M car? Before I even got in it, I was umming and ahhing, like, you know, you see AMG line, was this, you know, the newer generation of the M line stuff, the M Sport variants of certain cars? And I don't think it is. I think, I'm proud to say, this is a proper M car. It feels like one, especially, yeah, when you put your foot down, it's hugely fast. But we'll come up to a corner now. It doesn't sway about. You don't notice the weight. Like, the weight is the bit that I'm really, really shocked about, because of course you're thinking you had 2 tons, you know, it's going to be mid-size SUV feeling. It isn't there, and in fact it feels just like a bigger M3. And I know that's quite an obvious, or a bigger M4, I know it's an obvious thing to say, but it isn't that obvious when you actually get in it. It feels like that poised M car that I want it to be, and I'm, as a guy that drives cars all the time, you know, I do this for a living, it's really, really refreshing to jump in something that isn't just branded to be an M or an AMG or whatever it is. It feels so much more connected than I was expecting. I think, don't quote me on this, that the M cars I've driven recently, M2 especially, it's a great car. This though, for point and squirt ability, yes, it isn't rear wheel drive and it's not going to go sideways unless you really want it to. It just feels a lot more powerful, a lot more secure on the road. Maybe that takes away a little bit from the fun aspect of, you know, an M car being rear wheel drive. I don't know, I'm sort of quite about it, if I'm honest. I'm chucking it into a corner and it's like, yeah, let's go, let's go, let's go. The 4-wheel drive is letting me really, really hammer this thing and enjoy it more than I usually would in an M car, because, you know, the back end's coming out, I'm a bit more worried. So for that, I think it is a little bit different as an M car. It's the newer generation of M car where you're 4-wheel drive and you're a little bit more planted, which makes it faster. yeah, I like this. And yes, I do think it's a proper M car. I do think this is a proper built M performance version of itself. You can feel that in the steering, in the throttle response, in the way you can chuck it and it glues itself to the road. It's hugely fast for what it is. And you are in the lap of luxury. I haven't got onto, you know, everything else about this car because I really wanted to focus on the drive of this thing, but the inside is beautiful. These seats are unbelievable. I've had the heated seats on, a little bit of heating, pan roof, everything open. It's been so nice to be in this. So if you're daily driving this, you want the space, you need the space. I can see why you would, you know, opt this, because even the owner of this car had a 140. He was going to get, you know, an M5, say, or an M4 or something like that. And this, we're not saying this is a better car, but as an all-rounder, and you want something, you know, off the floor a little bit bigger, it makes complete sense to have something like this. Oh, yeah, hugely powerful. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below, let me know your thoughts on the X3M comp that I'm driving today. I am about this. I am very, very happy that it's as good as I want it to be. So shout out BMW for engineering M car performance in a 2-ton mid-size SUV. You've done yourself wonders today. I'm hugely impressed. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all on the next one.